Space Battleship Yamato is one of Japan's most famous science fiction space operas, centered around a gigantic starship called the Yamato. Here, Earth came under attack from the Garmillian Empire, whose radioactive bombs poisoned the planet and forced humanity to live underground. With only 1 year left before mankind goes extinct, Earth receives a message from the planet called Iskandar, offering a device that can remove the radiation and save the world. To reach it, however, the newly built space battleship Yamato embarks on an incredibly dangerous journey across the galaxy, while racing against time. The Yamato itself is one of the most powerful starships in anime, measuring around 265 meters long, with the newer remake making it longer at 333 meters or almost 1100 feet long. This ship is equipped with advanced exotic technology like the faster-than-light wave motion engines, powerful energy shields, numerous space cannons, and its legendary wave motion gun, which allows it to go toe-to-toe with the galaxy's greatest spaceships. But it is far from being considered a major or a large warship here, as there are spaceships, dreadnoughts, and space fortresses that dwarf it completely. So let's take a look here at the 10 biggest spaceships here in this franchise, including the space fortresses. Let's get banging. On the 10th spot we have the Maya. So this was one of the most enormous and the most intimidating warships ever seen in Yamato Rebirth, serving as the personal flagship of Admiral Metzler and standing as the second largest vessel in the Greater Europe Interstellar Alliance and the SUS Empire, surpassed only by the colossal dimensional diver itself. What makes the Maya truly remarkable was not its length of 450 meters but its staggering height of roughly 1000 meters, which makes it more like a flying skyscraper than a traditional battleship. Towering high above most other starships, the vessel looked like a giant metallic fortress, with a massive central structure, small side wings, and a huge forward observation window that gave its commanders a commanding view of the battle space. And beneath its armored exterior, the Maya carried devastating firepower, including 26 heavy neutron beam cannons and 26 smaller laser hybrid weapons for close-range combat, and therefore, as you can see, it is pretty huge and pretty powerful. On number 9 we have the Dimensional Diver, also known as the Dimensional Submarine. This was one of the most colossal and terrifying warships ever created by the SUS Empire in Yamato Rebirth. It stretched over a kilometer long. It was so enormous that it completely dwarfed legendary vessels like the space battleship Yamato and even the gigantic SUS flagship Maya. To put its size into perspective, the ship was longer than any real-world skyscraper. Its immense hull carried enough firepower to devastate entire fleets. But what truly made the Dimensional Diver feared throughout the galaxy was its unique ability to travel between dimensions. Whenever it emerged from or disappeared into subspace, vast waves of energy rippled through space like an ocean being disturbed by a gigantic sea creature. This extraordinary capability allowed the vessel to appear suddenly out of nowhere, unleash devastating attacks, and vanish before enemies could respond effectively. And most of all, its central super neutron cannon hidden within its core gives it power worthy of its size. Now number 8 we have the new Dessler ship. So Dessler's second flagship was one of the most famous and the most dangerous warships in the space battleship Yamato saga, serving as the personal command ship of Dessler after the destruction of his original cruiser. The vessel retained the classic cigar-shaped design associated with the Dessler's fleet, but it was larger at 1350 meters long, more heavily armed, and far deadlier than anything before it. It is covered in long hook-like protrusions and it is painted in the distinctive blue colors of the Garmillian Empire. The ship carried an impressive arsenal that included 24 shock cannons, also auxiliary weapons, mine deployment systems, warp projectors, and most importantly, the fearsome Dessler Gun, a massive energy cannon capable of obliterating entire formations of enemy ships, which means fleets, with a single blast. And given to Dessler by the Emperor Zwordar of the White Comet Empire, the flagship became the centerpiece of several attempts to destroy the Yamato. On the 7th spot we have the Denguil Mobile Fortress. This was one of the largest spacecraft seen in the final Yamato saga, an enormous mobile base measuring an incredible 2025 meters long. Although its sheer size made it look like a super weapon, its main purpose was actually to serve as a gigantic refueling and rearming station for the Denguil invasion fleet during its attack on Earth. The fortress carried the massive hyper-radiation missiles and enough firepower to threaten enemy ships, but it was not heavily armored and was never designed for direct frontline combat. So after escaping the destruction of the Denguil homeworld, the fortress became the central hub of the Earth invasion, helping to coordinate attacks that devastated Earth's defense fleets. But despite its massive size and strategic importance, the fortress proved vulnerable once its location was discovered, and since it was less armored, it could be easily destroyed. At number 6, we have the SUS Space Fortress. This was the gigantic central headquarters of the SUS Empire and was one of the most powerful structures seen in Yamato Rebirth. It measured an immense 3 kilometers in size. The fortress was more like a floating city-sized stronghold. Its defenses were incredibly formidable, relying on a powerful shield network which is generated by 5 massive shield pillars which are positioned around the fortress in equal distances. Each of these pillars were armed with 5 hyper-neutron beams, which also gave the fortress a total of 25 planet-destroying weapons. The fortress's own defensive shields were equally impressive, and they were able to deflect attacks from the Yamato's main guns and missile barrages without suffering noticeable damage, and thus that makes it incredibly impressive. Now operating on a different magnitude is the Gorba Class, also known as the automatic planet Gorba. It is one of the most extraordinary and powerful mobile fortresses ever seen in the Yamato universe. It measures an immense 10 kilometers in length. The Gorba is so large that it resembles a small artificial world rather than a spacecraft, and it serves as a mobile headquarters for the entire Dessarium fleet formations. What makes the fortress especially dangerous is its advanced trans-phase armor, a revolutionary defense system capable of neutralizing even direct hits from the Yamato's legendary wave motion gun by cancelling out incoming energy through a process called destructive interference. This same technology allows the Gorba to become completely invisible by nullifying electromagnetic waves, which makes it incredibly difficult to detect or even target. Its firepower is equally terrifying, featuring numerous Hyperion cannons, missile systems, and its devastating main weapon, the super large gravitational field convergence beta cannon. And the fortress also carries a unique capture field that can phase through subspace. It can also seize ships or large objects from subspace, which makes it incredibly dangerous. On the 4th spot, we have the Supersize Battleship. This was the personal flagship of Emperor Zwordar and one of the most colossal and terrifying warships ever encountered in the space Battleship Yamato universe. At an astounding 12.2 kilometers long, the Dreadnought was so massive that it resembled a small city drifting through space rather than a conventional battleship. For years, it held the record as the largest warship ever faced by Earth's forces, dwarfing the Yamato completely, dwarfing Dessler's flagship and nearly every other combat vessel in the series. The ship carried 33 gigantic magma shock cannons mounted in 11 triple turrets, with each turret being comparable in size to the Yamato itself. Emerging dramatically from the burning ruins of the White Comet Empire's capital called Gatlandis, the Dreadnought served as Emperor Zwordar's final weapon and symbol of absolute power. With its incredible 12.2 kilometer length, the Supersize Battleship remains one of the largest, most powerful and the most remarkable warships ever seen in the entire Yamato franchise. On the 3rd spot, we have the City Empire Fortress. This was the colossal capital ship and mobile headquarters of Emperor Zwordar in this universe. It is more than just a warship, it was actually a flying city and also an artificial world, appearing as a vast futuristic metropolis built on top of a gigantic semi-spherical planetary structure. During most of its journey through space, the vessel was hidden inside a brilliant swirling shell of white plasma, making it resemble a giant comet drifting across the galaxy. This plasma cloak served a practical purpose as well. It vaporized asteroids, planetary debris, and other obstacles before converting the material into fuel for its ship. The City Empire's defenses were also amongst the most powerful ever seen in the series, with countless missile launchers, batteries, energy turrets, retractable cannons, fighter squadrons, and a powerful energy shield, which is capable of surviving repeated wave motion gun attacks. The true scale of this city fortress, that is also a warship, is commonly accepted to be 15 kilometers in diameter, which means it is way bigger than a supersized battleship because its diameter means it is equally long in every direction, while the supersized battleship is cigar-shaped, which means it is only long in one direction. On the 2nd spot, we have the City Satellite Uruku, also called the Uruk, not the Lord of the Rings Uruk, but the Yamato Uruk. This was the colossal capital ship, fortress, and the final homeland of the Denguil civilization in Final Yamato. It measured an astounding 20.8 kilometers in length. It was one of the largest artificial structures ever encountered by the Yamato, surpassing even Emperor Zwordar massive supersized battleship and even the City Empire Fortress. Uruku was unique because it was not built entirely as a spacecraft. Instead, it was formed from a huge section of the Denguil homeworld itself after the planet was devastated by the Aquarius. As a result, the forest looked like an entire continent flying through space. Its forward section resembled a futuristic city filled with skyscrapers, command towers, highways, docking facilities, and landing strips, while its rear half gradually transformed into a rugged mountain range with rocky cliffs and ancient temple complexes which are carved directly into the planetary crust. And so it kind of resembles, at least in concept, the Eye of Palpatine from Star Wars, and most importantly, the Rock of the Dark Angels from Warhammer 40k. And of course, at the number 1 spot we have the Ark of Destruction. This is the biggest megastructure, the biggest superweapon, and the biggest mobile fortress of the Atlantis Empire, and the biggest thing ever seen in the Space Battleship Yamato franchise. It has a staggering width of 140,000 kilometers, and thus it can be treated as a massive celestial structure drifting through space rather than a normal spaceship. It is enshrouded in a blazing, high-pressured energized gas cloud, and the Ark appeared as a glowing comet, but this shell was actually a multi-purpose system used for defense, asteroid destruction, and even gravity-based attacks. Inside its vast structure was a castle-like tower far larger than the Earth itself, also a disc-shaped city, and the enormous planet catcher, which is a cage that could imprison entire planets within itself, along with a reactor that controlled gravity across the entire star system. The Ark also served as a mobile empire, housing over 10 million warships as auxiliary craft, ready to be deployed at any time. So while the other warships and space fortresses mentioned earlier were impressive, they became dust particles in front of this ultra-massive Ark of Destruction. And so with that, we end this video on the biggest spaceships, the biggest space fortresses, and of course, megastructures in the Space Battleship Yamato universe. So do hit the like button for support and also click the bell button for regular updates on new video uploads. Also subscribe to be a part of Legion Nutbug, and till the next time, take care, boys.